You see Toyota Camrys on the road all the time, but you don't really even notice them because they're so boring. They get a bad rap for being a boring car, but for 2018, in this all-new Toyota Camry XSE, Toyota turned it up a notch, got more aggressive styling, big 19-inch wheels right here, and just a better look overall. And we're gonna take it for a drive, look inside, and check this thing out right now. I wanted to hop inside the Camry and drive right away just to see how different it truly was from the 2017 Camry. I own a 2017 Toyota Camry, and immediately just getting in here, I can tell by the seating position, you sit a little bit lower, you have a more in the car type of feel. I'm gonna get on it a little bit right here. And with that 8-speed automatic, I don't know how much you guys could hear, but the downshift was pretty quick. It was quicker than what you'd expect in older generation Camrys. It definitely has some better get up and go, and like I said, this is the 4-cylinder. If you really want to get up and go, then you can opt for that V6 with 301 horsepower. The old generation SE was known for a pretty harsh ride. You could definitely feel every bump. This car has definitely fixed that to an extent. It's better than it was before, but it's not the most compliant ride. You do get a new double wishbone suspension in the back, which definitely helps. On some bumpy roads, like I said, it's more compliant. It's not the most. With the LE model, you get a little bit of a cushier ride, but the ride and handling is better on this model. You get a little bit more of a sport tuned suspension. Going around some corners, I can definitely tell a difference, especially with the lower center of gravity that this car has. It doesn't inspire me to want to go to a racetrack, but it's pretty capable of handling, you know, everyday needs, sharp turns, everything that you would expect to do with this Camry. If you're used to any older Toyotas, any older Camrys, you'll be pleasantly surprised once you hop into this. Overall, you know, this does a lot of things really well. It doesn't really shine in anything in particular. It does have a pretty quiet cabin, but if you do really rev up the engine, it has a little bit of an unrefined tone to it compared to the V6 models that you've heard before. The weight of the steering is fairly light. It's not as light as some other cars, but it's not as heavy as other cars, maybe like a Mazda or a sports car. But I think it's a good balance of heaviness and lightness, and a good amount of weight to this steering to help you in some parking lots or just around town driving. As we look at the exterior on the Toyota Camry, the big changes noticed right here on the grille is more aggressive. We get bi-LED headlights. If you go with the LE trim levels, you get a different looking grille that looks a little bit more plain, a little bit more luxurious maybe, not as aggressive as this. On this XSE trim, we still don't have the fog lights down there standard. Going over to the wheels, we get 19-inch wheels on this trim, and that will go all the way down to 16-inch on the L trim level. This is a ruby red right here. I think it really shines. It looks pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. We do get turning indicators in the mirror. The character line for this Camry are a little bit different. As you can see, Toyota made this vehicle lower the center of gravity with the new platform that they have, but still maintained good headroom in the vehicle overall. Going over to the back, we have LED taillights, a new style font with the Camry right there. On this trim, we actually even get quad exhaust down below, which gives us a few extra horsepower and pound-feet of torque compared to the non-quad exhaust. What do you guys think of the design right here? You know, one thing they did is fake little vents right there, which I think they look fine. You know, nobody's gonna really think this thing's a race car or anything, but it's a nice touch. We say we dive in, take a look in the inside right now. The standard engine option on this Toyota Camry is a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. You can upgrade to a 3.5 liter V6 still. This 4-cylinder is paired with an 8-speed automatic direct shift transmission with a new torque converter for more responsive acceleration. That 8-speed with the 2.5 liter will produce 206 horsepower in the XSE trim with the quad exhaust and 186 pound-feet of torque. You will drop a little bit with the LE in the lower model 4-cylinder. If you really want some grunt, you can get the V6 with 301 horsepower. That 4-cylinder will get you 28 miles per gallon in the city and 39 miles per gallon on the highway, but if you go with the base model L trim with the smaller wheels, you will get up to 41 miles per gallon on the highway, which is fantastic. The key fob Toyota gives us is right here, pretty generic looking. It does feel kind of light and plasticky, but this does have the smart key system. So when we go up to the car, in order to lock it, you can hit those buttons or hit those lines right there. In order to unlock it, stick your hand in the door and it'll be open for you. Once you get inside the Camry, you'll notice that these all new shapely seats are supportive. They're a little bit on the firm side, but nonetheless, they're pretty comfortable. You get power adjustable seats. You get a tilt and telescoping wheel with a pretty large range of motion right here. Good headroom at 5'9", even with this panoramic sunroof. The one complaint that I would have about these seats is that the headrest is a little bit far forward, which can push you into a little bit of a forward head posture, depending on your body type. Once we move inside the Camry, you'll notice some big differences between this and previous versions. I'm going to go ahead and push start. Starts right up. You do get digital display right there in between the original clusters. It is a nice information display, and there is a lot of information that you can scroll through. Don't even pay attention to the miles per gallon number because I've done quite a bit of idling. As we scroll through, you can see the economy right here. We can change that for a different indicator right there. You can even scroll through some of the support features such as lane departure and the cruise. You can control all that on the next page, and you can customize this whole thing with different options for the settings, as well as your gear, your temperature, etc. You're treated to a lot of nice soft touch materials on the door, the steering wheel, and the dash. The steering wheel on the XSE trim is leather wrapped. It is a nice comfortable steering wheel. I would like to see it look a little bit sportier, maybe with a flat bottom or some bulkier sport grips, but it's a little bit thicker than last generation and it feels pretty good overall. You do have steering wheel controls here for your Bluetooth, steering wheel controls over here for your cruise control, your lane departure, etc. right there. Toyota really made this a much nicer place to be. Even though the seating position is lower, you do have a good, pretty decent view of the road. It's a comfortable seat overall. As we move over to the center stack, you can see even the vents look sleeker than previous models. We do have a pretty good sized touchscreen right there at 8 inches with some tactile buttons still on the side. You do have dual zone climate control right there in the middle. It's nice to have with you and your passenger. Going down even further, here's our shifter for the 8-speed automatic transmission. We do even get an S mode, so if you shift down into drive, you can shift over to S and use paddle shifters on the steering wheel, or you can use the shifter itself. Continuing down, we have an eco mode, normal mode, and a sport mode. The eco mode basically dulls your response to the throttle. Sport mode basically improves your acceleration and your throttle response. We have a brake hold button for if you're going to sit still for a while. You don't have to shift into park or hold your foot on the brake, and an electronic parking brake, as well as heated but not ventilated front seats. As we look at this compartment right up here, you see one pad right there, which you can also get a wireless charging pad, but this is a storage compartment. You can even move that out of the way, and then down below, you can see even more space down there. Going right in front of that, you can see a USB port as well as a standard 12-volt outlet. There's also an auxiliary port right next to the USB. This does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. There are several features you can do, and this is highly customizable. Right now I have it as red. You can change this for a lighter layout, a dark layout, whatever you prefer. You can still do standard Bluetooth. You can do your AM, FM, Pandora. You have several options with that. The new Avalon for 2019 has Apple CarPlay, so hopefully Toyota has that in store, or plans in the future at least. You can get navigation on this screen. I do like this layout, how there's multiple things shown, and like I said, that is customizable, and it's pretty easy to use and fairly responsive. On this 8-inch display, the Camry gives us a nice backup camera with a couple angles here. One angle right there, switch, you get another angle here, and you can even change the dynamic guidance lines right there, so there's no line, or you can have the movable lines. We are treated with an automatic dimming rearview mirror, LED lights right up above, as well as an awesome panoramic sunroof in this trim level. As we go take a look at the armrest, this is soft, it is padded, it's definitely comfortable, it's decent size to share with the passenger. As we open it up, as you can see, there's 2 fast charging USB ports right there, and a pretty good amount of storage space down below. It's not 2-tiered, which would be nice like some competitors, but you can store quite a bit down there. Overall, the interior is a nice place to be with comfortable seats, comfortable steering wheel, good displays on the multimedia system, as well as a gauge cluster and soft touch materials everywhere around you. Moving into the back seat of the Camry, at 5'9" with this seat placed where I would normally sit, I do have a pretty good amount of knee space. I have a decent amount of foot space underneath. These seats do have some similar shaping that you get in the front, so they are fairly comfortable. My headroom is borderline touching my hair, so if I was a couple inches taller, an inch taller, it might be touching. When you combine the legroom with the center folding armrest and the rear seat vents for the back passengers, it's a pretty comfortable place to be. As we move to the trunk, you can open the trunk just like normal, or there's a little button right by that Y. You can push that, open it up, and that'll give you 15.1 cubic feet. It's a fairly wide opening, and Camry redesigned their hinges to give you a little bit more space so it doesn't impede on your cargo. You do have pull tabs on both sides where you can open that up for the front or for the rear seats right there. It is not flat, as you can see. There is a ramp, but you do have that option. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. That's going to wrap everything up. I'm Nolan Merrill. This is Prime Autotainment. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Check out some other videos for new weekly videos on new cars. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.